Hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard. My name is Dinkar and I welcome you all in this session. I hope everybody is doing great, feeling healthy and fine. As you all know that every Saturday we are bringing with RBI Grade B concept building series, especially to make your conceptual clarity regarding the topics on ESI, finance and management. So that is why Oliveboard has taken this special initiative for all of you at free of cost. Every Saturday we are bringing this lecture for all of you so that nobody should remain behind. So every Saturday at 9 p.m. we are bringing this RBI Grade B concept building series for ESI, management and finance. So till now we have taken around three lecture in this series, one of ESI, one of finance and one of management. So moving into that cycle, now we are going to again do one topic of ESI today. Okay. So before starting of the session, I would just like to know how many people, how many of you are there in the session. They can just simply say hi, hello to me in the session. Okay, we have Nile Darne. Nile is asking, sir, is there any way to contact you? No, 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 Nile, you cannot contact me. You can just simply leave the message in the comment box and I will reply over there. Okay. So we will be starting off with our session right away. So this is RBI Grade B concept building series, and these are all the live video batches that you are going to get every Saturday at sharp 9 p.m. At sharp 9 p.m., everybody will be getting these concept building series lecture. And if you are serious about your preparation, then please do join this session at proper time. Okay, so I think more people have joined. Hello, Deepika. Welcome to the session. Good to see you here. Okay, great. So we are pledging for your success, and this course will be offering you the live video batches, comprehensive coverage of whole syllabus, doubt clearing. I will be doing your doubt clearing even by your comments in the comment box. If you have any kind of doubt that is there, you can just simply leave it on the comment box. I will keep on checking the comments and I will answer it over there. Okay, then preparation guidance will be provided by me only. I will be keep on telling you the uh, preparation strategies and various other things. I will be keep on telling you, don't worry have to about it. Okay, and since you are sitting in the olive board, that means here no extra things will be taught. Only it is totally exam focused, exam centered study that you are going to get. Okay, so today we are going to do the ASI lecture, and this is going to be on growth and development measurements of national income. Okay, today we will be talking about all these GDP, GNP, NNP and NDP. Okay, so don't worry about that. Today your conceptual clarity will be over. Okay, so first of all, we have to tell what we have to find out about what is the meaning of economic development. What is the meaning of economic development? Whenever we say anything economic development, we are talking, as the word suggests, there is some kind of development over there. Okay, development can be in any field. Okay, like economic development is something like what? Whenever your living standard is rising, when your self-esteem is rising, your socio-economic status is changing. Okay, so economic development is a qualitative term. Quality, we are talking about the quality. Whether earlier, what was the quality of your life earlier and what is the quality of your life now, that is the economic development. Okay, so how that economic development changes, like if you have literacy rate is high, rising, people are getting internet access, infrastructure is getting developed, standard of living of people is getting higher, people are having good housing facilities and everything. These are all the indicators of economic development, right? Sorry, please bear with me today. I have a throat infection. Okay, so please just bear with me today. Fine. Now comes growth and development. What is the meaning of growth and what is the meaning of development? Anybody can give me a difference? Can anybody give me the difference between growth and development? Growth and development. Anybody? Okay. Growth is something when we measure in terms of monetary benefits. Monetary, पैसे के रूप में. आज पैसा कम है, कल ज्यादा है, ऐसे लगता है. Economic development we measure in terms of human development. In terms of human development. Okay. So how we measure the growth? There are four parameters of measuring the growth. One is GDP, one is GNP, another one is NDP, and another one is NNP. Okay, gross domestic product, gross national product, net domestic product, and net national product. Okay, slight differences there. We'll come to. Okay, so GDP is the total monetary value of whatever is produced within the country itself in a particular time frame. Okay, if we say in 1 year what is the production that has happened in country, or 6 months or 3 months, okay, the time frame we have to select. Okay, so GDP is something in which we are finding out like what is the total monetary value of the final good hona chahiye, that should be final good. It should not be used as a secondary good in other industry. Okay, that means now the final good has been made and it will not be reprocessed. Okay, so if we see here, we have a country India over here. Okay, whatever is produced in the whatever is produced in the borders of India, in the borders of India, like this, we calculate the monetary value of that. We calculate the monetary value of that. That is the GDP of our country. Okay, so if we are producing some chips, if we are producing some software, some hardwares, all these things, then some steel, cement, house, bricks, anything, we add up these monetary value. Or first of all, here there is a catch. There is a catch. This is a processor. This is a software which runs your computer. These are the hardware which runs your computer. After adding all these things, you get a computer. Okay, you get a computer. So you have to add the final value of this computer. Not you do not have to add the value of all these because that has already been added to the computer. Okay, so this is the final product. This is the final good. This is the final product. Now you take bricks, you are using steel, you are using cement, and what you are making a house. So house is your final product. In the GDP calculation, you are going to use these products. Okay, not the intermediate goods because they are already being included. Okay, so then comes the concept of gross value addition and GDP. People say that GVA and GDP are similar thing. No, it is not. GDP and GVA are two different things. Gross domestic product, whenever we are talking about, it is some just a monetary value when we add all the final goods and services. And what is the gross value added means? Gross value added is something where we are adding the value that has been added to any product. Right? If we say 20 rupees for that I have bought and I have added around 5 rupees in that and I am selling at 25 rupees. So how much value I have added? Rupees 5. Okay, and again somebody is selling this at 35 rupees. So how much value he is adding? Rupees 10. So gross value added from initial to final is how much? Total 25 rupees. That is the gross value added. Sorry, 15 rupees. Sorry, 15 rupees. That is the gross value added. Okay, from 20 to 35, the value added is 15 rupees. Okay, so that is called value addition. And 35 we call it as GDP. And 15 we call it as GVA. 15 we call it as GVA. Okay, so GVA is economic output. Economic output is 35. Okay, and how much is your input? It is your 20 you have put over there, and here that is your 15 over here. Okay, so whenever we are finding out GVA, we are finding the GVA of a specific sector, like primary. What is the GVA of the primary sector? What is the GVA of the secondary sector? What is the GVA of the tertiary sector? Okay, then we are adding all these things, and then we are getting the GDP of the whole group. Okay, okay, so that is the main difference. Now, the second concept, gross national product, GNP. In the GDP, we are only counting the Indian borders. Now, as you all know that few peoples from India are working outside also. Most of the people from Kerala are working in the Gulf countries. People are working in the USA. People are working in UK, Germany, France, everywhere, and they are holding the Indian passport. They are holding the Indian passport, right? So that means whenever we are finding out the GNP, we are finding out the GDP plus net factor income from abroad. Okay, how much income from abroad that is coming? Okay, it is the nationals. People are treated as nationals. Those people who are working outside are the nationals of our country, because they are just residing abroad. That is different thing. Okay, so GNP is a total value of goods and service that are produced by the national of the country. Okay, whether they are staying in India, whether they are staying outside India, that doesn't matter. Okay, so this does not take into account income of the foreign national. So that means some people of the foreign nationals will be also, just one minute. Sorry, I am very bad at math, so please pardon me. Okay, so I will be just making some kind of structure, but still I am really sorry if you just feel bad regarding that. So, some people from other countries are also staying in India. So, you cannot add their income in our GNP. Okay? Because their income in the GNP will be added by their countries. But we can add their income as GDP in our country. Okay? So, we will come to know. So, GNP is GDP plus net factor income from abroad. Okay? So, net factor income from the abroad means people are sending the money. We are getting interest on the loans, we are getting some external grants also from outside. Okay, so now GDP versus GNP. What is the important? GDP versus GNP. GDP, we only include domestic territory. In the GNP, we have a residence. Okay, whether staying in India or whether staying in outside. Okay, so in the GDP, for income earned by the foreign nationals is included in GDP, but in GNP it is not included. Then income earned by the Indian national in GDP not included. Outside India, it is not included. But in GNP, it is included. Okay. Then income earned by the foreign national outside India, it has not been included, but it has not been included in that also. Okay. So this is the difference between the GDP and GNP. Now comes net domestic product. GDP, then comes NDP. Okay. Net domestic product is simply your GDP minus depreciation. You know, every year the value of the goods goes down. Wear and tear happens and various other things happen. So because of that, like your machinery, vehicles, house, they get deteriorated. Okay, so because of that, their value depreciates. Okay, so that is why whenever we are reducing the value from the GDP minus depreciation, GDP minus depreciation, we are finding the value of net domestic product. That means what is the actual value of something that is there in our country right now. Okay. So NDP is never used to compare two economies. NDP is never used to compare two economies. The main reason is that because different countries have different depreciations level. They do not have constant depreciation level, so we cannot compare. So that is why we only utilize the GDP data to compare the countries. Okay, then comes your net national product, NNP. This is something called as something which is purest, which is called as something purest. So net national product, it is the gross national product minus depreciation. GNP minus depreciation. Okay, and NNP is the purest form of income in any country. This is the purest form of income in any country. Okay, got it? Now, this part, this NNP, since we have found out this is going to be the purest income that your country earns. So, if we wanted to find out the per capita income, we have to utilize this value only. So now per capita income, how per capita income is calculated? Per capita income is calculated when we divide NNP divided by total population. We get per capita income. Okay. So since NNP is the purest form of income, then we divide it by the total population, then we get a per capita income. Then comes the concept of personal income. So whenever we are talking about the personal income, it is the income that you received in a household. That includes non-profit institutions serving household. So whenever we are finding out the personal income, okay, it is just like whatever the receipts you are getting. Receipts means maybe you are getting salaries, maybe you are getting interest, you are getting some rents also. Then you are getting dividends on the share or any transfer payment. Okay, so whatever you are getting, sometimes you are earning it. That means you're receiving from all the sources which may or may not have been earned. Maybe you have earned it and which may you have not earned it. Okay, so this is like that. Personal income is your national income plus income earned but not received. That means something is the income that you get but you have not got it, and then income received but not earned. So these are some of the important concept under the personal income. Now come we are moving towards the disposable income. Disposable income is something which comes in hand, which comes in hand of anybody after cutting everything, which is available for you to consumption, for your consumption or saving. Okay, how this is derived? So disposable income is something that is personal income minus personal income taxes. Okay, once you receive personal income, you remove your personal income taxes, then whatever you are going to get, that is going to be your disposable income. Okay, that you are going, either you wanted to spend it, either you want to save it, or whatever you wanted to do, that you can do. Okay, so that these are the various type of methods of calculating the growth of any country. Okay, now there are two ways to find out the cost of the things. We have always heard that the people are saying that that is costing that much as that much at the factory, and if you get it outside you will get it at this much rate. Okay, so people say that if you go and buy that product, like if we have football, if we have a football, and if somebody say that if you go and buy it from the factory you will get it for 200 rupees, and if you buy it in the shop you will get it for 250 rupees. Okay, so what is this difference? This 200 is the factor cost, factor cost, and this 250 is the market cost, market cost. So there are two ways cost in any income is calculated. Okay, so factor cost is referred to as input cost. That means whatever the cost that has been put under the manufacturing of that product, like how much the cost of capital, how much interest or loans you have taken to make that product, how much raw material have you used, how much labor you have utilized, how much rent you have paid, how much power you have utilized. So all these things we count it in a factory setting. We count it in a factory setting and find out like what is going to be our actual making charges. What is going to be our making charges under that? Okay, what are going to be our making charges under that? Okay, so this is called factor cost. Then comes your market cost. Market cost, like whenever we are adding indirect taxes, you have seen that in the boxes they always write inclusive of all taxes. Inclusive of all taxes. This is the indirect taxes that has been put when the product goes outside the factory. Okay. So market cost of anything is the factor cost plus indirect taxes. And if government is providing any kind of discount or subsidy, that you remove it from there. Okay. That is the market cost. Okay. Now come the prices. Prices means whenever we are comparing something, whenever we are comparing something, we have two ways of comparison. Either we compare it at constant price, or either we compare at a current price. People say that, right? People say that, right? Ki, GDP is at what value? GDP is at constant or GDP it has current value, right? So GDP, whenever we are calculating the GDP is calculated both at current price also and constant price also. So whenever we are calculating GDP at constant price, that means we are calculating the GDP at a fixed parameters. Parameters. Okay, we are comparing from the previous period. We call it as real GDP. Whenever the GDP is calculated at constant price, we are called as GDP as the real GDP. Okay, or real income. And whenever we are calculating GDP at current prices, okay, we just put the value, current value, and then we find out the GDP of that country. That we call it as nominal GDP or market GDP. Then the concept comes like we have constant GDP, we have current GDP. Now we have lot of differences between constant and current GDP if you are doing the calculation. So that is why we have come up with the concept of GDP deflator. We have come up with the concept of GDP deflator. Okay. So GDP deflator is like how much the price difference is there between the constant GDP or current GDP. If there is huge price difference that is there, that means there is a very good amount of inflation that is there in the market. Okay, and if the GDP deflator value is low, that means the inflation is not that much and economy is doing well. Okay, so GDP deflator is telling about the price deflator. Okay, so it is just a ratio between the nominal GDP and real GDP. Okay, so more the value of the GDP deflator, more will be the inflation in the economy. Okay, lesser the value of the GDP deflator, more realistic the prices will be. Okay, now comes the concept of national income. Okay, anybody have anything to ask right now? Anybody has anything to ask right now? Anybody has anything to ask right now? Okay. So now come the concept of national income. So whenever we are talking about the national income, it is like we are finding out the monetary value of whatever the economic activities like goods and services that are being produced in our country in the accounting year, plus how much the money that is coming from the abroad. Okay. So national income, whenever we call it as, it is NNP, net national product, because we are counting the net factor also, plus we are adding subsidies, and then we are removing the indirect interest taxes because government takes the interest, right? Interest taxes, you are getting some interest. So this is the difference. So whenever we are calculating the national income is something where NNP plus subsidies minus interest taxes, that is the national income. So people say that then what is the difference between the GDP and national income? So GDP is they're finding out just simply the monetary value of all goods and services. Okay, they are not taking into account the net factor income from the abroad. Okay, so but national income estimates the total amount of money that has been earned by the businesses and the individuals of all of the nations. Individual of the nation means in India and abroad. Okay, so national income is net national products plus subsidy minus interest taxes. Okay, then these are the formulas of personal income and disposable income. Okay, now there are three ways of measuring the national income. One is value added method, other one is income method, and other one is expenditure method. Okay, so value added method means whenever we are finding out the national income of the country, we are just adding the values of how much value has been added at each level. So value of the output minus intermediate consumption, okay, that we call it as the secondary products. So you will get the value addition. So that value addition will be your national income of your country. Okay. So then if we say that this is net value added will be minus net indirect tax is coming out to be the net domestic product, NDP. And whenever we are finding out all these things, we have to make sure that we are utilizing the proper uh, uh, credentials for all these things. Okay. Now, the second one of finding out the national income is income method. Income method means we are adding all the income that are being received. That means you are getting the salary, businessmen are getting the profit. Okay, we are adding all these things. Okay, so you are getting salaries, you are getting operating surplus, self-employed people are getting salary, whatever the money you are getting from outside. So all the things, whatever the money that economy is getting, national, that is called the national income of the country. So that is the income method. We are adding the income of everybody. Okay, and then we have a third method of finding out the national income is expenditure. So how much people are doing expenditure, okay, that is going to be the national income. Okay, that is also called as income disposal approach. Okay, so first of all, final consumption. Final consumption comes like your private final consumption and government final consumption. So how much private people have consumed, how much government has consumed in that year, then how much domestic fixed capital formation has happened, how much money is spent over there, how much net export of goods and services has been done. That means we have sold something to the people. Okay, so this is going to be our expenditure method of finding out the national income. Okay, so guys, this is the thing that I wanted to discuss today regarding the national income and the GDP datas, NDP, GDP, GNP, NNP. All these things are there. I hope you got all the conceptual clarity today regarding this. If you have anything left that you wanted to ask, please just leave it in a comment box. When the session gets over, I will be surely there to answer all these questions. You don't have to worry about that. Since you are in the Oliveboard, I am always there to help you out in all the way possible. Okay, so thank you so much for joining the session. Have a great uh, day tomorrow and have a good night to all of you. I will see you on Monday then. Bye bye, take care, and see you.